Hi and welcome back to 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀𝗀, and today guys we are taking another look at XLM, and the question here that we were asking is it too late to get into stellar lumens? So Chris, what's your thoughts? Do you think it's too late?
No, not by any stretch of the imagination, Nick. I still think it's undervalued, and it went to what, 32 pence UK, so what's that, 38 cent?
About 38 cents as we record this video. So guys, we're going to go into why we think there is still time to get into stellar lumen, and I mean, I probably will still buy stellar lumens at these prices as well. So guys, let's get into that. And as always, if you find it useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really appreciates it, as do I. And if you're new to the channel and not yet subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe. By being subscribed, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, let's go ahead and jump over to the XLM to USD chart and kind of go through why we think there is still time to get into this project.
Super, let's do it, Nick.
Let's do it. Right, so here we can see the massive green candles over the last 3 days, right? And ultimately, yes, if you were looking at stellar, a matter of let's say November, right, 2 months ago, if you were looking at it then, sure, you would have got a fantastic deal. Likewise, if you were looking at it in March when we had that crash, it would have been a fantastic buy. But with that being said, if it wasn't within your grasp or realm to do so during that time, it wasn't an opportunity. So the question now is, you're looking at it, is there still time? Is there an opportunity for stellar lumens? And absolutely is the answer. So we're going to go through what we see here on our chart and to why we think, and why I personally will still be buying stellar even at these prices. So what I've got here is multiple blue lines, and these represent support and resistance lines against the history, which is all the way over here, right? So they represent some key points in time that may prove to be support and resistance, and quite commonly you will see that in a lot of this. The other thing I've got on here, guys, is a fib extension and fib retracement, sorry, with the extensions. Okay, so this goes from a low point of the 18th of November and the high level here, which was the 25th of November, right? So that gives us these key areas to be thinking about on the stellar lumens chart. Okay, and as a part of that, it also gives us price targets, okay, that we can look at in a moment. So as we went into this and we got that high level, we did expect a retracement. It hit that 50% level and a little bit lower. It was aiming for that 38% fib retrace, right? And we saw it do this, and it moved through all of these wave motions that you see here. Some things to point out on this chart. So obviously we had the high point. We have to note that. And we obviously have the low point down here. We obviously have to know this. The other thing to bear in mind is we had this test on the candle here, right? Let me just actually delete that for a second. Right, so we had that candle there, which was testing this original 23% level. It also got tested here. This particular day was the day that the SEC filed a lawsuit against Ripple, so everything kind of crashed down, and it bounced off of the 23% level, which is a really key point. We obviously have the historic support level here as well, which was working incredibly well at this point here, and that was at 12.75 cent, right? So really important to know what was going on there. As we move forward, obviously we broke past our 50% level here, came back to retest it. Okay, so it got retested and we moved on up. We passed the 78% fib retrace level, and it actually touched on a bit of resistance here at 21 cent. We cooled back down, but it did not go below, and this is the key thing, guys, it did not go below the 19.2 cent level. And that's a real important thing to note. That gave a big buy signal to say it was time to move things up. Now, what was unexpected at this point was we completely smashed past our former high level at 22.9, right? We just left it in the bar, way in the dust, along with 21 and 22 other levels here, right? All of these support levels and resistance levels were left behind. It's important to understand that because we've got gaps now, gaps in our data. But we also, not only did we pass all of those, we also passed the next 3 levels here, which is the 26, the 27, and the 28 cents, right? We just shot straight through them. and that we also went past the 30.9 level, as well as our first extension level here at the 1.61 extension, which was 32 cents. In fact, we went all the way up here, guys, and this represented 38 cents, and we even went past our other resistance here at 37.5 cents. At that point, we got some massive sell-off, okay, guys? And that was be expected when you start hitting those higher numbers. There are sell orders all around these zones, right? So you would be expecting to hit that and come back down. This is kind of what we call a bit of a cooling off period, a retracement, right? And we can see that our candle here is actually now just below the 30.9. It's basically on that 30.9 level, right? So we know that's a real key area that we wanted to come back down to and test, right? So now the questions really lie, is it too late to get into stellar lumens? And we obviously firmly say no, don't we, Chris?
We do, yeah. Like, it's still undervalued, and there's still lots of partnerships and stuff, lots of work happening in the background.
Absolutely. So right to our present time, we are on this resistance level. Now, what I would like to see, whether it will happen or not is yet to be decided, but what I'd like to see is actually closing above this resistance line. If we do not close above it, more than likely we'll fall down to 28 cents, right? That's the next support level that we have here on this chart. It may fall to 27 or 26. Those three lines are so close together, they can get blurred pretty quickly. So ultimately, expect something maybe to fall in this zone if we do not close above that 30.9 cent level, okay? Now I'm just going to go ahead and remove some of these and just remove those out of the chart here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out for a second and then flip this into the 12-hourly view. The 12-hourly view shows us a different picture, right? It shows us our green candle. It shows us this next 12 hours after this one. It shows us just the sheer number of momentum that it had to get up here, come back down and pull up again, right? So ultimately, we were up at that high zone, we pulled down, we tested the 28 cent level, right? That's really important to note that we tested that 28 cent level and we bounced back up from it. Now we're facing resistance at 30.9. So it's really good to see that actually play out on the 12-hourly. Okay, we'll go ahead and flick this into a 4-hourly chart and you can really see what was happening here. We had a lot of momentum coming up. We shot right up to that 38 cents, came back down. We basically opened up our next 4 hours here. We went up again, but came back down. It was very indecisive, right? These two candles are almost identical with the exception of their wicks, okay? Then our current 4 hours in this particular chart here shows us going up and coming down. We tested recently that 28 cent level, and that's a really important thing to keep pointing out. So let's go ahead and throw this into a 2-hourly. We can see that happened in the last 2 hours and we get this kind of momentum, right? Now on our 2-hourly chart that we can see here, we could argue that there's a bit of a trend line, right? Potentially forming on the downward angle here. Not saying that that's going to definitely be what happens, but it is something worth pointing out at this point in the analysis. Okay, so we're going to just mark that out so we can see what's happening there. So there's a little bit of a channel on the 2-hourly chart that's looking like, we're going to hit, potentially a downward trend. I don't think that's the case though, guys. I think that's a bit of a false positive here. I think these trend lines sometimes do not give us the best indication of things that are going to come. So for example, what is going to happen in the next 2 hours? So let's go ahead and throw this into an hourly chart, and that's going to give us a bit of more of an indication. We can see that our chart straight away, our lines are no longer really aligned to our thinking. So I'm going to pull that over and we can still see we have 3 points of contact, but we only have 2 points of contact now on our lower support level here. So the other thing here is we can see that we're actually above this line currently, and do we seriously think that this trend line is going to be stronger than our actual support line? I don't think that's the case. So I think the trend is a bit of a false positive or a false negative because it's a downward trend. I think we're going to be calling off in this zone, and I think there's lots of potential here to still pick up some stellar lumens in this kind of 30 cent zone. If of course we close down, then I think we could have some potential to even pick up stellar lumens in the kind of the mid to high 20s, which would be also, I think, a fantastic purchasing opportunity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this back into our daily chart and then show you those extension levels, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull this down. We can see that we have 46.9 cents as an extension level. We can see we have 61.6 and 70.8, right? So those are pretty nice numbers and potentially still have massive returns on investment if you were to purchase at this particular point in time. What I can also do is take our fib extensions and retracements here and apply them to the low point that we've just had in the last few days and the high point that we had today. Okay, so now we can see we've retraced down not only just to this level, but between our 61 and our 78% retrace. With this done, it gives us new price targets, guys. We can see that we have price targets now at 53 cents, 79 cents, $1.05, and $1.20. Okay, so I think there's huge potential in stellar lumens for the rest of this year, and you know, I want to get a little bit more data before I actually go ahead and adjust too much of my you know, extension levels and my fib retraces. So I'm just going to pull this back down to where it was for here. I want to see another day or so's worth of candles being printed, and then I'm going to adjust my fib retracements and my extensions and see what new price targets emerge for stellar lumens. But right now, I'd say there's potential in this project still, even at these particular values, because we are talking about potentially reaching those higher levels, well above $1 for stellar lumens and the XLM token. So ultimately, hopefully this was helpful for those people who are asking that question, is it too late? I don't think it's too late, Chris. You don't think it's too late. And I think there's fantastic opportunities here for stellar lumens. Chris, anything you want to add about, you know, not necessarily just price action, but also, you know, stellar lumens as a whole?
Well, we know that there's more than just the Ukrainian central bank that are looking to utilize the stellar blockchain for CBDCs. And I think some of them are looking sort of, was it March time to potentially sort of go live on the blockchain. So, you know, I'd imagine around that sort of time frame, we're going to start to see some more price discovery. So, you know, lots to look forward to for stellar lumens, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So guys, if you found this useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button for Chris. He really does appreciate it, as do I. And as always, if you're new to the channel, not yet subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all that said, we hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Take care.